this meet is actually pretty nice. You already have a lot of like cars like this, European vehicles, a ton of like beautiful looking cars. I don't remember what chassis that is, but I know that's a BMW, probably like a 3 Series. We got a 7 Series here, a couple Porsches. There's another GT3 over here, and then we got this actually incredibly looking cream Mercedes. And I was about to say a Land Rover, brother. It's not a Land Rover. As you can clearly see, it's a Mercedes, big boy. I really, really love these Porsches, man. GT3 is like the perfect combo right here. Perfect combo. Color, wheel. I get it. It's a simple black Porsche with gold wheels and a black and a wing, but it's simple and nice, and I love it. This is pretty clean. I like the obviously the OZ Racing wheel combo. This is an E30. Surprisingly clean. This has got some wings fitting. Behind me, we've got a E24 and then another E30. Both in this nice, I think it's a champagne color. I really do like the slant nose design on, I guess I would say slant nose design on the front of these E24s. As you can clearly see, the front of those cars, like they're super slanted downwards, and you have that, those sharp body lines. Then I've got another E30. As you can see, they started making the lines a little bit more smoother, but they still are incredibly sharp. I've always will love these. The fitment on this is incredible as well. This era of like modification with the BBS style wheels has always been what like I've loved, and that's kind of like where I've started my life in this whole like slamming cars and stance building whatnot. It's kind of like things that look like this. Now I'm not 100% sure if this is actually a triple step wheel, but the face is a 15-inch face, but then the lip steps it up from 15s to 18s, which is always impressive in my opinion. I remember when I first saw these things, I was like, yo, that's incredibly tough. Once again, it's those sharp lines that I'm talking about that I love about these cars, man. The E24s and the E30s, I mean, you look at the red one back there we just got, they have such sharp lines, and I love it. This car, by the way, just sits amazing. Like, just look at this. This just has presence, you know what I'm saying? You got my boy Isaac's car here. I don't remember what wheels he has on, because this guy's always changing up something on this car, but the fitment's actually nice. It's bagged, and you can see some clean fitment there. Some tiny, tiny wheels. By the way, this car is right-hand drive, so every time you see this thing, remember that that's another piece that nobody else has. Here's a right-hand drive Mark II. As you can see here, look at that. That's actually sick. VR swapped. It's actually a really, really clean example of a Mark II. Another bagged one. My dad had a similar body style. I don't remember what body this is, but he had a 300D. This one is definitely, I don't believe it's a diesel, but it's still a very clean example of this car. Fitment's clean, and the car in general is clean as well. I got a beautiful one over here. Look at this. Wow. 2800 CS. Interesting. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I won't say I love these ones, but I do appreciate what they are. They're just different vehicles in general. We got another, I think this is a B5A4? I could be wrong, but this is another era of car that I've always liked. Oh my god, I just noticed. Obviously he's got the OZ wheels, but he got some massive Porsche brakes. Porsche calipers. I wonder what Porsche that, oh my god, I wonder what Porsche this came from. Oh my goodness, it's got a dual caliper setup on that. It's actually pretty nice. And I do like the stance of this car as well. Once again, it has that like gentleman low type thing. You know what I mean? Let's get a side shot of this. I think it has some sort of side skirt package on this for sure. This is clean. And we have like a lone one just sitting over here. By the way, this is a wicked backdrop. As you can see, this whole venue that they got is actually pretty sick in my opinion. I think it's one of those most aesthetically pleasing venues for these style of vehicles. I like the gold caliper paint with the deep green paint as well. Looks like the car has actually been driven. Still nice though. Got a nice old school G-Wagon over here. These things are huge. I like this too. This is a JDM G36 sedan. Wow, not a sedan. G36 wagon. The G36 denotes the size of the engine, which is an inline 6, 3.6 liter. We can see here there's a decaling going down the side. They also have these incredibly huge. This thing seats 7. You can see it has the side pipe exhaust down there. Once again, with the decaling going across there, right? It was definitely an AMG option, as you can see right there. And it's got some beautiful black leather interior. It seats 7 actually, because if you can, it's hard to see in the back here. Yeah, we can't see in the back, but it definitely does have the 2 seats where people face each other at the back. And as you can see, it denotes AMG Japan. Now, the reason why it says AMG Japan on it is because this was built obviously in Germany, then shipped it to Japan for the Japanese touches that they normally put on it, such as the decal, the window visors, and a couple of the touches here and there, like on the inside. After they shipped it from Germany to Japan, obviously somebody owned it, and then the current owner right now, he said that he got it from Japan, obviously auction, and brought it to Canada. So now that's 3 different countries this one vehicle has been in, which is always like the story that I love to hear. More cars are still just rolling in. Oh man, look at those wheels. Lorsner, I don't even know how to pronounce it, but I do remember those are like the period correct wheels. These are beautiful. Oh, it's a SL500. Okay, so SL500 with the hardtop convertible, I think that's what that is. Ooh. Stance is meaty, bro. That's sick. This is a beautiful looking car as well. Gorgeous, gorgeous car. Okay, that must be a package, I guess. A Lorsner package, but I don't even know how to pronounce that thing. Alright, so we've got a 280 SL Mercedes with a soft top convertible. It actually does have pretty nice clean, I guess you could say, presence as well. Obviously these are definitely the older cars. I believe they're from the 80s or so. The gear lever is pulled backwards, which in my perspective, I thought that was in drive. But obviously because of this is an 80s vehicle, that thing's in park. And we've got an E46 M3. Beautiful stop tech rotors. I love these cars when they have the peanut butter interior. I'm sure you guys will hear me say that quite often, because that's just obviously something I've always liked about these color combos. But as you can see, this thing is incredibly beautiful. Fitment's tough. Got the carbon front lip as well. And we got a Porsche over here. I don't remember what this one is. This is nice. This car has amazing amounts of presence as well, just because of the wheel and tire package and combo. We got a beautiful Corrado over here. Got some Borbet Type A's, I think those are. Incredible. And I don't know if these came, what engine do you have in this, bro? VR6. Okay, it's a VR6, and that came with the that's a single overhead cam VR6, no? Yeah. Okay. I was 2 years old when I realized that Corrados came with active aero. I didn't know that they had this. I won't lie to you, like, this is a new found information for me. I've been around Volkswagens basically all my life because that's where I started, and I did not know that these things actually came with active aero. That's impressive. And then also the owner told me that he has a I can't even see it in there, but down there those are oil gauges and temperature gauges that also came factory, which is it's crazy. I didn't think that was a factory option as well, but they came factory in those vehicles, which is another reason why those Corrados are also such like whatchamacallit, sought after vehicles. Big body caddy over here. Who's this guy? I just had a conversation with another gentleman, and I was saying how obviously they don't make them like they used to. They're so incredibly boxy. And I understand the newer vehicles are more comfy, they're more safe, they're more reliable. Obviously, I know this thing has a ton of issues because it's older, and they did have issues back in the day as well. But the difference is these things actually have character and substance as opposed to all the newer ones. That, like, obviously I get it, you know, they have better center of gravity, and, like, you know, engines are more reliable and stronger and quicker. Understandable, but once again, they lack character. You know what I'm saying? And they also just they're boring. They become boring vehicles that, like, they're appliances. That's what all the newer vehicles basically become, appliances. As you can see, this is actually pretty nice. Upgraded seats in there from another vehicle. You got some brown seats in the back there. You know what I'm saying? I get it. These cars probably were incredibly rattly, you know what I'm saying? And noisy, but once again, they don't lack character. I'm not saying I would go this far back, you know what I'm saying? Because this is like a tin can on wheels, you know what I'm saying? But I just don't want to go. I would rather not have a vehicle that's an appliance, you know what I'm saying? Appliances are kind of dull in my opinion, but as you can see, look at that. He's got all the luggage in there. Oops. Trying to get out of other people's way, but look at that. Got all that jacking stuff. Whoa, that's sus. Unfortunately, it's coming down a little harder. I wish it wasn't, but I'm gonna try to keep pushing forward because I see a Porsche 912, I think that's what it is, 912, whatever. I've always liked these ones as well, just because of, like, the swooping lines and whatnot. As you can clearly see, just it kind of swoops and whatnot. The hood line as well is pretty beautiful. And then you have the iconic, like, hips that the Porsches eventually evolved. This was basically the beginning steps of, like, that hump, the hip, my bad, I guess you could say, at the back there. Because when you look at the GT3 RS over here, and 100%, they definitely just went further with that hump, and they had to have it because it's a rear engine vehicle. So this car is beautiful as usual, as I always say. I love the wheel combo, and, like, you can see, look how huge those wheels are. And as I said before, these are actually running double staggered setup, which means, as some people don't understand what a double staggered setup is, but what I've learned is that it was a setup that has basically a wheel that is smaller in diameter and in width in the front, and then something bigger in diameter and wider in the rear, or vice versa. But that's the double staggered setup, right? So for instance, normally what people would say is, if it was just a staggered setup, it would be 21s in the front, but the fronts would be 9 inches wide and the rears would be 10 inches wide. But because this is technically a double staggered setup, the fronts are running a 275 35 20s, and then the rears are 335 35 21s. So clearly that's essentially a double staggered setup in a sense, because the front wheels are not only smaller in diameter, but they're also smaller in width, in a sense. Now, this may be the only JDM vehicle that's actually here. It's got a carbon front lip, carbon side skirts, a soft top. It's actually tough. I like the swan neck. Let's get a zoom in there. The swan neck spoiler there. I think this hood might be actually carbon as well. That's just wrapped. It's definitely some sort of composite, I believe. And then you got the nice, the whole combo of this vehicle is actually pretty clean, I won't lie to you. So this bumper is definitely aftermarket. I don't even know if it's like an AP1 or AP2. I'm not that into the S2000 to know that. But I do know that definitely that's a different bumper, obviously, with widened front fenders. Carbon front fenders, I believe they might be. But they're wrapped white. I'm not too sure. Carbon mirrors. That's a beautiful looking mirror there. Soft top. Yeah, some nice folks. Breeze under the roof. We got the carbon rear diffuser. And it's off there as well. That's nice. The swan neck spoiler. Pretty cool. For those of you that know ball, know that this car behind me is actually one of those legendary vehicles. It is the Mercedes-Benz 190E 4-cylinder engine. That was a 2.3 liter. And they're making north of like 200 horsepower. But I think back in the day, like this was the package that kind of like set Mercedes in that direction of like, you know, being able to create lots of power and fast vehicles that actually had a presence. As you can see, you got the 190e 2.3 liter. So as I said before, I think it was a 4-cylinder that's put in this thing. I do like the little touches that it has here and there. Obviously this is a body kit right here, or package I should say, sorry. You can see there's like a little fender flares per se, and then you got the side pieces going along here. This is a pretty nice package as well. And the front bumper definitely is a little bit different as well here too. I say this about every other car because it's the truth, and obviously this is how the vibe is for this show. Is the body lines of these cars are definitely more sharper, less smooth, and 100% more like deliberately angular. As you can clearly see, there are sharp angles everywhere, as I'm saying, right? Nothing of this is like incredibly smooth per se. I've always liked these nice cars over here, and every single car here is actually that look, man, where it isn't boring. They all have character in some which way, shape, or form.